and they're happy. And to do so, I'd like you to welcome to the Montel Williams Show, the Fatimas. Please meet Ronda Wood and Dee Davey, our belly dancers. And Ronda, I've got to ask you this question. I mean, a lot of people like myself have a problem with using the word fat. And do you come across this a lot?
Oh, I think people are uncomfortable with it. I'm not uncomfortable with it myself. To me, it's just an adjective. You know, people can call me things that I really am. I'm smart, I'm gorgeous, I'm fat, I'm a teacher, I'm a belly dancer. It's just an adjective. I think where people's discomfort comes is because they're hearing in their mind a backlog of mythology about being fat. They're saying fat means also lazy, doesn't take care of herself, this, that, and the other thing, which I don't accept, that negative background. I accept it as an adjective or a part of who I am.
Okay, now during the show, should I use the word fat, or can I just say...
I'm more comfortable with it.
How about you, Dee?
That's fine. I don't feel it has a negative connotation as far as when it's applied to me. It's an adjective that describes, and it's just fine with me.
Well, can I say voluptuous?
Oh,
can
sure.
You can say that, too.
Can I say large and in charge?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Living large.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, really? Huh?
It's not insulting.
Okay, well, now, you ladies have been large and in charge for a while. Were you ever...
All my life.
All your life? Were you ever inclined to play this diet game that so many other people out here are playing?
I think that most people go through that, and I found, for my part, it didn't work for me. I was able to lose weight, but I always gained it back, and usually in excess of my starting weight, and I realized that just over the past few years, I've been reading how unhealthy that is. And
I dieted from when I was 12 to when I was 27. When I was 12, the fad was put people on amphetamines. So as a 12-year-old, I was basically put on speed. And after 15 years of dieting, I ended up much larger than I think nature originally intended me to be.
Well, when you were on the amphetamines and you were doing the dieting, were you what they would call, and I'll use a term and let you slap me for this, were you what they call normal when you were dieting?
what do you mean normal? What's your definition of normal?
I know. Okay, no, all right. I wanted you to tell me that, but were you smaller size then when you were dieting?
I've never achieved an average size, if that's what you're asking.
Okay.
I don't know what you mean by normal. To me, normal is this size. This is where my body has stabilized at for years. I can eat less, I can eat more, and I don't gain weight, and I don't lose weight within a 5-pound cycle.
Yeah, and the range of what people think of as normal is very narrow. I mean, if people have to put a label on normal, oh, you're abnormal, you know, we feel like there's a much wider range of people who are attractive at larger, at thinner sizes, attractive and healthy and fit and have a good time.
And you know, the weight charts that they're using, you know, in order to categorize people, they're upgrading them. They're finding that they just don't apply to the average person, you know, because they're finding that people...
normal person?
Yeah, to the normal person. Because people come in all sizes and shapes, and they're starting to recognize that.
Was there ever a time in either of your lives when you were, I don't know what a good weight would be for you, but let's say 130 to 140 pounds?
No.
I'm fine. I weigh 290, and I'm just fine at this weight.
6th grade.
6th grade? 6th grade, you were around 130, 140 pounds?
Probably, though I can't really recall, probably.
Huh. And what triggered you to stop obsessing with your weight?
I got involved with NAFA, the National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance.
Say that acronym again, the National Association for the Advancement of?
Fat people. The National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance.
Fat acceptance.
And it's for fat people. And their supporters, their allies, their admirers. It's for everyone. You don't have to be a certain size to join or to be a part of it.
And my original motivation was actually financial, because I decided after paying doctors all this money to torture me that I was never going to pay anybody money again for this process. And I subsequently found NAFA also and got into a whole other sphere of thinking.
No, I'm like these girls here. My parents put me on a diet when I was 14 years old. I was 5'6" and weighed 150 pounds. And they're telling me I was fat. I didn't have the problem. It's society, it's our parents, it's our peers, it's someone else has the problem and not me. And I'm also with NAFA. I'm also on the national level as well as the local chapter.
Well, just like them, when you joined, is that when you started accepting the size that you are, or did you accept that earlier and you just needed them for support?
I needed them for support when I came out here. I'm from Colorado. And when I came out here in '82, that's when the pier washed down, the bad storms they had. I won a pool tournament to help raise funds for the piers, but I was not accepted because I was fat. It was like, oh, you won, good, goodbye, go away. We don't want to acknowledge you as a person. What does that have to do with anything, my weight? I mean, I was a pool tournament person and I won. You should be happy for that, not because of my size.
Okay, all right. Well, you know, was it just NAFA that turned you around? What was the date? I mean, I know you must look back in your life and...
NAFA. Got more interested in the political side of it, and it's a human rights group, and I became interested in that, and I realized that I'm discriminated against, and it's not always overt, but it's very subtle, and my consciousness has been raised, and I realized that I have been discriminated against. It's not fair, and I want to do what I can to change it, because in American society we're often dealt a very bad, unfair hand, and it's just not fair.
Well, it's good that you've come out to show us what you look like,
right,
and to do the dance to prove that
Hopefully
you can do things that other people can't.
To let people know that, we are normal, that we are people, and above all, we should have our rights.
Yeah, it's a process you go through. I don't think there is a pinpoint date where you say, yes, on this day, I changed forever. If somebody had told me 7, 8 years ago, yes, you will be exposing your belly on TV and dancing, what? I don't think so.
Anyone would have gone through that, though.
But you have. And we appreciate it. I'll tell you what, when we come back, we're going to see and speak with a 450-pound stripper who loves her body. So stay with us so you can see this, all of this. We'll be back in just a second.
Here's a great haircut.
Oh, yeah.
Picture my interview. There's Stark White offices, my new dress, a new cut. Well,
Picture this. There you are in their stark white offices with your stark white flakes.
dandruff?
Itty bitty fashion no-nos.
But I shampoo every day.
Yeah, but with a regular shampoo. Try this.
Head and Shoulders.
I use it.
Yeah, but you don't have dandruff. Bingo!
Head and Shoulders, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Do you know what I am? I'm a dryer hose, or what they call in the home improvement business, a hard-to-find item. Of course, if you shopped at Home Club, I'd be as easy to find as the front door. That's where you'll run into a Home Club helper who'll be happy to tell you where you can find any one of over 25,000 items in their store, including me, Harry the Hose. Home Club, no membership. Everyone gets our lowest prices.
Remember your 4 food groups.
Today, we know to ensure good nutrition, we should eat from the 4 food groups.
The 4 food groups.
The 4 food groups.
The 4 food groups.
Introducing Basic 4 cereal, a delicious blend of grains, fruits, and nuts that with milk gives you the goodness of the 4 food groups, like you've never tasted them before. New Basic 4 cereal.
We have seen the future.
And it tastes great.
Comedian Fanny Farkle. How are you? We're glad to have
better
you
than
here.
nothing, baby.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I'm hot and ready.
Oh.
I hope everybody else is.
And I think you are. Now, the question is, somebody
sir.
told me that you started stripping in the business at age 14?
That's right.
How much did you weigh then?
I weighed approximately 390 pounds.
At age 14?
Yes, I was very voluptuous.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'd say you were. But now, people out here in the audience, I know people that are watching this at home, they're looking up here right now and saying, come on, you ladies cannot be happy with yourself. They're trying to feel sorry for you. What do you say to that?
Suffer.
I
got the real thing, baby.
Oh, I see you do.
This is the real deal.
I see you do.
See, I don't have to watch what I eat. I let them watch me eat.
And you are a professional stripper. What kind of clubs do you strip in, or where do you strip in?
I am known as an exotic comedian. I do stand-up comedy. I sing. I take my clothes off. And you never know what I might do after that.
I heard some screams up there from someone.
Hi, I'm also from Napa, as the other young lady said. What people don't understand is that happiness is not based on size, on income, on what your job is, on how much you eat or you don't eat. It's what's inside each of us. And I don't see how anyone can tell me whether or not I'm happy by what I weigh, what my face looks like, what my job is.
That's true.
That's true. Well, Fanny, are you making a good living now as
I'm not making a good living.
You are.
Somebody said to me earlier, they said, listen, they said, but what about your love life? I said, my love life, I have to beat them off now.
That's right.
God forbid I went down to 130 pounds. I get mugged.
My question is for the lady in the pink. How do you keep, I feel like as a stripper, you have to keep yourself feeling sexy. How do you do that?
Can we talk about that on TV?
I don't know if I can tell you about it after the show, though.
Well, okay, I guess the question really is something like, most people would look at you and say that you aren't sexy, or those people in the audience may say that. How sexy do you feel, Fanny?
Honey, I feel very sexy.
Is that it?
Sex appeal is what's between the head. I mean, you can be beautiful at any size. You can be attractive. There's men that like really thin women. There's men that like really large women. And it's also sexy is how you feel. It comes from the inside.
That's right.
It's sex is between the brain.
Yeah, well, I mentioned before about the myths. Yeah, where people aren't comfortable saying fat because they hook it up with other myths. That's one of the myths, that fat people don't have love lives or are not sexy or are not attractive. That is a myth. That is not true. Fat people are attractive. They're gorgeous, real active love lives, and you know, no problem at all.
Okay, wait, I know you have a question. You had your hand up, but now you are a size 2 or something. I don't know. She's a
She's
size
gonna love you
8.
forever.
She's a size 8. You're a size 2. Would you feel comfortable like that?
No, I would not.
Not at all.
No.
It may not be right for you.
That's right.
It's not a problem for us, though. Right. So our size
You've been
shouldn't be
thin
a
all your
problem
life,
for
I
you.
take it.
Yes, and I eat like a pig.
Well, I don't eat like a pig, but look how I look.
Okay, go ahead with your question, because I have another question for you about this, though.
Okay, I know she's sexy here on the right. Now, these two here, would you go to a public beach with a string bikini on?
I don't have a two-piece, but I have one with cutout in the back, little frilly hip. You have a two-piece.
Oh, I have
don't
a
you?
two-piece, and I do
sure,
wear it
to the beach. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I like the tan.
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't really have a question. I admire the ladies for their attitudes. I married my wife here 30 years ago, and she was the same weight then that she is now. I married her because she was happy, and she had a beautiful smile, and she had a bubbly personality and intelligence, and she liked the same things that I like.
Let's talk to her for a second. Now, what's your name, ma'am?
Joy.
Joy. And your name, sir?
Ken.
Ken?
Ken.
Joy and Ken. I shouldn't be holding your hand. Ken should be. But now, the question is, when he came up to you and he accepted you at this size, how did that make you feel?
Made me feel very good because, you know, prior to that, there wasn't a whole lot of boys that I had a date with or whatever because they didn't want to accept me as I was. And I've been this since I was 2 years old, overweight. As they say, obese. Obesity is in your mind. Obesity is what you feel you are, if you are. I never felt that way. So I tried to be accepted for what I was, and people are very cruel. Children especially. You know, I've had my dresses tore off of me when I was in 2nd grade, and this sort of thing, because they did not want to accept me because I was different.
And there's nothing wrong with being different.
No,
I guess
there isn't.
And Montel, I just wanted to add, too.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add that I've met any number of men that that seek me out because of my size.
Men seek you out because of your size?
It's strictly because of my size. That's all there is to it for them. You know.
We need to meet some of these men. We may meet one a little later on in the show. You had one more question.
Yes, I'm happy here because I'm personally tired of seeing only thin people on television. But
Yay!
this is not real.
It's getting better. It's getting better.
Thank you. But my question is, what do you think we could do to help young women who are growing up obsessed with thinness to the point that they're coming down with bulimia and anorexia, and they're just not living a healthy life? What do you think we should do?
I have a cure for that. I really do. Montel, excuse me for interrupting.
Go right ahead.
But they should have me do a Diet Pepsi commercial.
And the point is, yo, go ahead.
Not only that, but that's what we're here for, to educate, to let people know that, yes, we are real. You know, we're real people. We have real lives.
That's right. Well, look, when we come back, we're going to talk to a woman who's a real person who wouldn't let even her size stop her from finding love. We'll meet her and the man she loves as soon as we come back.
A woman was murdered in this room a few weeks ago.
Starting over on the outside.
Hello, Patricia.
Means broken promises.
Ron doesn't want me to come and live with you, does he? I don't want you.
And plots of revenge.
Now it's your turn to suffer.
Would you be prepared to let me do some work on an appeal?
No.
While those left inside fight back.
Men like that deserve to die. I feel so damn helpless!
Dangerous Women.
Wednesday at 8 on Channel 13.
Socked with dirty whites?
Don't reach for the bleach, put it back on the shelf. This detergent wipes all by itself. Power bleach wiping in just one box. It works so hard they call it the Ox.
New Ultra Oxidol doesn't need a separate bleach. It has a new, more powerful bleaching system that gets socks this dirty brilliantly white. And the Ox loves colors.
Don't reach for the bleach, grab a box of the Ox.
Detergent that whitens without separate bleach.
At last, you can love oatmeal. Because today, oatmeal is Oatmeal Raisin Crisp.
Good. Raisins! Almonds!
Oatmeal Crisp, Oatmeal Raisin Crisp. 2 ways to love oatmeal your way.
Look, Ma, I'm eating my oatmeal.
Look, Ma, I'm eating my oatmeal.
Look, Ma, I found something for nothing.
Top Secret Popcorn. Free in specially marked boxes of Oatmeal Crisp and Oatmeal Raisin Crisp.
Be sure and write them a nice thank you note.
Hey, Los Angeles, you need hard water zest.
It's hard to get clean in hard water, and you're in a hard water town. Clean with hard water zest, and you'll know what we mean. You're not fully clean unless your zest fully clean.
Hard water zest was made for hard water. Soap leaves a film behind, but zest rinses clean. No film on your skin.
No ring in your tub.
You're not fully clean unless your zest fully clean.
Please welcome now Judi and Bob Forbes. They've been married for almost 8 years, and Bob, you describe yourself as an FA. What is an FA?
A fat admirer, a person who admires a full-figured woman.
A full-figured woman, yes. A fat woman.
A fat woman.
A fat woman, okay. Because I've been told I have to be proud to say this word, fat woman. Fat people. Yes. I don't know why. It makes me uncomfortable still, but I'm going to say fat. Okay? Now, Bob, tell us. You notice how I went off on this? because I went back. I have to tell everybody about this. Everybody knows. Look, I just went back, and they told me, Montel, you have to say fat. Say fat. Okay, so I did it.
We're not
Bob.
going to hurt you.
I know. I'm afraid that you will. That's why
I know.
Bob, why? I mean, why do you call yourself a fat admirer?
Because I do admire a woman who is fat because it's something that appeals to me. I consider it a preference in the same way that some men prefer tall women or short women or blondes or brunettes or whatever. It is a preference, nothing more.
So did you seek out a woman that was a fat woman?
Yes.
And did you do this all your life?
Not always, but for the most part.
I mean, you know, everybody today has these thoughts, you know, everything that you do as an adult, they think that something happened to you in your childhood that would make you do this. When you were like 4 years old, did a fat woman kiss you and you liked it, and so that was it?
No, I
past life.
I can't relate it to any one specific instance, but I did know at a very young age, 4 or 5, that I did have a preference for fat women.
Okay, Judi, now when he came to you and you knew the only reason why he was there was because you were a large woman, you were fat, did that make it upset you?
Not the only reason.
Oh, not the only reason.
No, it's not the only reason, but I met Bob through a personal ad with BBW Friendship Express. It's the large-sized women's fashion magazine. They have a personal ads. And actually, it was I who was seeking him. I was dieting at the time, and I wanted someone that would accept me for me, because this is very strange. I'm going on a diet, so someone will accept me. I want someone that will enjoy me as I am and will appreciate me for who I am as well. And that is how I met Bob.
Well, Bob, you're up there right now on the stage with 4 fat women. You must be in, like, heaven right now, right?
Very close. But I'd also like to say not only 4 fat women, but 4 very attractive women.
Yes, yes. Okay, well, that's good. Well, now, the question, though, is why? Why are you attracted to fat women? I want to give me a why. Is it the shape?
Why not?
I want him to answer this question. Is it the legs that you like? Is it the arms that you like? Is it the breasts that you like? I mean, what is it that you like?
I think that God intended for women to be soft and round and not hard and muscular. It seems like what has become to be accepted as the norm today are fashion models who, as far as I'm concerned, have the body of a 14-year-old boy.
Well, okay.
I think it's like great that you guys are happy. I have been both very fat and very thin. And I know that for me, I was happier when I was thinner. And I don't think that I could be happy heavy. I would love to know how you guys, like, did you go through a period where you weren't happy and you had to get to that point? And also, I worked on the show Babes, and if you're familiar with that, I'm totally interested in knowing if you felt...
What started it for me was a very good grounding at home. My parents believed that what made you a person was who you are, not what you look like. That was just the extra. The extra was what you look like. And if you happen to come in an attractive package, well, all the more better. But if, you know, you didn't come, it didn't make any difference. Maybe some people think I'm very ugly, but it'll be ugly whether I was fat or thin. You know, it's to each his own. One person's attractive may be another person's unattractive. I mean, you know, it just depends on person's preference.
What's inside the person.
And what makes you a person and what makes you happy is you. You have to be happy with yourself.
And not only that, but a lot of people have image problems no matter what their size.
Exactly.
It doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, have to do with size.
Are you afraid of the health hazards like having a heart attack or heart disease or something like that?
I was waiting for this question. People always come up and say, you know, well, but aren't you worried about your health? First of all, where that question is coming from is really kind of a smokescreen, because those of us who experience any kind of discrimination or name-calling in public, if you walk down the street, somebody doesn't yell at you, hey, I'm healthy. You know, that's not where they're coming from. They're coming from how you look.
But you know what, Rhonda, we deliberately did not bring any doctors on the show because we didn't want to turn this into some sort of a clinical study of obesity and all these other terms that they use. But I had to do some digging. So I dug into the AMA and got some information out of here. One, they say obesity health facts. And this is what they say, and you tell me if this is wrong. Hypertension and stroke is twice as likely to occur in obese women. Coronary heart disease is more common, especially in obese men under the age of 40. Diabetes is 5 times more common. Men who are obese have a higher risk of colon, rectum, and prostate cancer. Women increase in breast, uterus, and cervix cancer. And also, extra weight on the hips, knees, joints, and other places leads to undue strain.
Okay,
Now,
the fact is, serious research has only begun like the last 2 or 3 years on this subject. And Nurses Week this week published a little blurb from the Framingham, Massachusetts study, which stated that women who have gained and lost 25 pounds or more several times have twice as much chance of having a heart attack as a person who is fat and stays that way. They simply don't know enough about this at this point, but all the pointers are saying dieting, severe dieting, is what is bad for you and what hurts your heart more than anything.
More than anything else, the assumption that you're unhealthy.
Yeah, and the myths are being changed at this point through actual research. For a long time, doctors just bought into a whole societal idea, you know, if you're fat, there's something wrong with you. And at this point, they're really doing the research to find out what it is.
I just wanted to know, doesn't your weight get in the way?
Did it look like it got in my way when I was dancing?
Well, I was heavier. I just lost some weight, and when I wanted to go out and do stuff, I was more tired. And
No, I teach belly dance twice a week for an hour and a half. When we do our full routines, it's at least half hour to 45 minutes. I have no problem with stamina, and I'm in great shape.
That's another myth. I work anywhere from a minimum of 50 hours to 72 hours a week. Yes, I'm tired, but so would you be. But it doesn't hinder me in doing anything I want to do. What hinders me are people's prejudice.
Okay, Fanny, how about you?
Yeah, that's good. That's very good.
It really makes me laugh when you turn around and say that you were tired when you were 5 pounds or 10 pounds overweight, because I weigh over 450 pounds, my dear. And I do 3 to 4 strenuous shows that run approximately 30 minutes to 45 minutes on stage. I do dance routines, I do stand-up comedy, and I sing. And I can outrun you, I can outwalk you, and I can outdance you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, when we come back, we're going to talk to a woman who has outdone everybody in the corporate set. We're going to talk about succeeding, being heavy in corporate America. We'll be back in just a second.
Clean it twice or cinch it once.
I don't mind cleaning, but I hate cleaning twice. First spray cleaner to cut grease, then go back with glass cleaner to get the streaks the spray left.
Don't clean it twice. Cinch it once. New Cinch from Spick and Span. It's the first cleaner that gets the grease and the streaks. Cinch it once and 2 things happen. The grease is gone and the streaks are gone too. Glass cleaner can't always get the grease, and spray cleaners can leave streaks. Either way, you'd have to clean twice, but New Cinch gets it right the first time. Leaves no grease, leaves no streaks. New Cinch from Spick and Span. Don't clean it twice, cinch it once.
First, toothpaste came in tubes, then in unsqueezable pumps. Now, there's Neat Squeeze from Crest. Squeezes easily like a tube with the control of a pump and a pull-back feature that makes brushing a lot less messy and a lot more fun. The new Neat Squeeze from Crest.
Ralph's once again presents 2 great ways to save at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Now for a limited time, with every $25 minimum purchase at Ralph's, get a child's admission ticket absolutely free. Plus, while you're at Ralph's, you can purchase Six Flags Magic Mountain general admission tickets for $5 off the regular price. So come experience Cyclone, the new wooden roller coaster, and many other exciting attractions the whole family can enjoy. With 2 great deals available exclusively at Ralph's. Everything you need, every time you shop.
Remember your 4 food groups.
Today, we know to ensure good nutrition, we should eat from the 4 food groups.
The 4 food groups.
The 4 food groups.
The 4 food groups.
Introducing Basic 4 cereal, a delicious blend of grains, fruits, and nuts that with milk gives you the goodness of the 4 food groups, like you've never tasted them before. New Basic 4 cereal.
We have seen the future.
And it tastes great.
Please meet Carey Cheney, a media marketing consultant. Now, Carey, do you feel that you fit into the corporate image?
probably not what is considered the quote-unquote normal corporate image, but I don't have any problems in terms of my abilities to fit in and do my job right.
Do you have a problem, or do you perceive a problem from some of the clients that you work with as when they meet you, do they accept you?
Yeah, I have experienced prejudice in that respect. I've had clients that have been referred to me and have seen my work or have seen portions of my portfolio, and we've discussed my work on the phone and had an excellent conversation, and then set a meeting and I'll go down and meet with them, and I'll know within 10 minutes when I haven't had an opportunity to even open my portfolio that I've lost the job.
Just because of the way you look?
Well, I would have to say yes, probably. I work in an industry that's very heavily male-orientated. It might also possibly have something to do with that, but I would have to say being large-sized and a female definitely is part of that.
I would like to ask the lovely people on stage, in their opinion, are there more men who want to have sex with fat women, or are there more women that want to have sex with fat men?
Well, wait. I couldn't hear you, Dee.
We're going to do a survey starting with this audience.
I'll tell you what. When I got heavier, my ladies got uglier, and that's the truth. When you get thinner, you get nicer ladies.
You're not looking
in the right place. I'd like to say I have a dating service for larger-sized men and women and their admirers, and by and large, we have a lot of gentlemen, a lot higher percentage than people think, who are looking, like Bob did, to date larger-sized women. But we also have women who call up, I'm not that big, but I'd really like to join your service and come to your parties. And they are looking for larger-sized guys. We have a dating service. We have parties and dances. And in response, I would just like to take a second to this lady who asked about what can we do for the younger girls that are coming up and worried. Let them know there are alternatives. There is NAFTA, the organization. Locally, there's More to Love, my group. There's BBW magazine, there's Radiance magazine.
Happy with themselves.
There are alternatives, there's support for them.
But you know what? I think he asked this question because he's trying to figure out whether or not he can have a date sometime with somebody. Okay. Is that right? Yes. I can hook you up. Right? You can hook me up. On national TV, you're hooked now.
Credit card or cash?
Credit card? Well, no, we don't do it that way.
Yes, I would like to ask you up there, do any of you feel like embarrassed when people stare and look at you? Why or why not?
Yeah, would you consider the source?
Look at you.
You consider the source. I mean, these people would be someone who would maybe laugh at someone because of the color of their skin, or maybe their hairstyle, or maybe their handicap. And I don't let it bother me. You can't.
It helps if you stare back, too.
They don't like that.
Or
have a snappy.
I'm from England, and I feel I have been struggling with my weight all my life, on and off. But what my point is that since I moved to the United States, and this town particularly, I've been here 11 years, I feel there's a real stigma with weight, particularly in Hollywood. And I just want to know if any of you ladies are from another part of the country. You came here and you had more of a problem here than in another part of the United States.
Actually, I find it quite different. I moved here, I've lived in Oklahoma and Georgia, and because most of those areas are what we call middle America, their thinking is not as a liberal. They tend to accept you for the person you are, but it takes them a while to get past, what you look like. It's just out here, more people are more bit laid back, I think, and willing to accept you with all your oddities. Let's walk down Hollywood Boulevard.
Also, people talk about the LA lifestyle. There's so much written about the LA lifestyle. Well, I live in LA, and I have a wonderful lifestyle. I partake of everything that's afforded to me here by living in LA. And my size really doesn't hinder me or hasn't been a detriment to that.
Yeah, a person tends to set their own limits.
That's right.
Set ours farther.
Exactly.
I can understand how you guys could be happy, because here I am. I'm now 148, okay? And I feel like I'm fat because of the way that the lifestyle, the people say, because I used to only weigh 117. I just recently gained all this weight, but I feel so fat. And, I would be disgusted with myself if I was that heavy. That's just me personally.
You have to work on your own attitude. Why are you listening to those
Why don't you let someone tell you how to feel?
That's just the way I would feel.
Well,
who else in the audience wouldn't be happy fat like this? Who wouldn't be happy? You would not be happy for
We're not saying it's for everyone. We're not saying we want the whole world to be fat like us. We're saying just because we are fat does not mean that people cannot find us attractive, and it does not mean that we cannot be happy.
Yeah, I look
Or
around
just
this
be
audience,
treated
I
any
see-
differently than anyone else.
I wanted to ask some of you your typical day, what you eat on a typical day. Is it any different, do you think?
On a typical day?
Another misconception.
That's a misconception.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
popular one, too. On the average, studies, research has shown that on the average, fat people do not eat more than average-sized people.
How come you get fatter?
I've been fat all my life, don't you see? It's my genetic predisposition.
80%
But
of
could
your
you tell
body
me what you eat on a
yes.
typical day anyway?
That's totally irrelevant because 80% of your body size is determined genetically. It's genetics.
But Ronda,
and if you're a constant dieter, your metabolism will change so that the less you eat, the more good it does you, good in quotes, and the more weight you'll gain.
Okay,
yes.
but I think she's trying to get to the bottom because everybody assumes that you must eat, like,
We're
for
laying on the
breakfast,
couch eating
7
chocolates
dozen
all day.
eggs,
Yeah.
10 pounds of bacon,
Yeah.
at lunchtime, 4 chickens. What's that?
That's the standard that they think. It's not true. I get up in the morning, I have a cup of tea and a muffin. And I don't eat again until it's dinner time.
And then what do you eat for dinner?
I go out to a restaurant and have an order a dinner.
Okay, and then after that, do you have any snacks at all later on in the day?
Well, we never know. After work, we might have.
Yeah, define snacks. That's what I want to know.
I just have a quick question. We've heard about all the men that like you guys. Do you prefer fat men or thin men?
Doesn't matter to me.
I think it's a personal preference more than anything. That's kind of a generalization, just to say all of us. Do we all prefer fat men?
Just because we're fat doesn't mean we have to like the same.
I prefer a man with a good sense of humor.
Right. I prefer a man that's tall.
Okay, when we come back, we'll find out about all those things that make you angry. We'll be back in just a second.
Just imagine a day in the life of your bathroom sink, where everything you rinse away, wash out, scrape off, actually leaves behind stains that can seep deep down below the surface of your sink. That's why you need Comet with bleach-boosted chlorinol. Comet penetrates deep into the tiny cracks and cleans out dirt, bleaches out stains, and disinfects to kill germs. That's clean. That's deep down Comet clean. Comet. Deep down, you know it's clean.
Just another phone number, right? Not exactly. This number can mean a beautiful add-on for your home, a new pool, an exotic vacation, or the cash you need to consolidate your bills. You see, Ames arranges quality equity loans for homeowners at competitive rates with no credit hassles. So discover what so many Californians already know. When it comes to borrowing, one number does it all. All right, quit showing off.
Oh, Miz, are you eating Newts and cottage cheese plain again?
Well...
Looks like you're trapped in the 50s, back when cottage cheese creativity was at an all-time low.
Well, what can you do with it?
Don't be wiggy. Scoop it in a baked potato. Spice it up with salsa. Swirl it in pasta.
Oh, I've got a meeting.
Meeting? You've got a floor to wax.
Me?
Newts and low-fat cottage cheese. Now it comes in 4 packs.
Okay, it's your heaviest day, and it feels like you're wearing a pillow, because you had to put on some thick maxi. Why? You and I know a maxi this thin would never work. Never say never.
New Always Ultra Plus. Compared to regular maxis, Always Ultra Plus is better at holding wetness inside. With more liquid, we still stay cleaner and drier.
Could I ever wear a pillow under these pants?
New Always Ultra Plus. Cleaner, drier, better.
And we're back. And we've been talking about being fat and being happy with it. And ladies, I have to ask you this question. I mean, do people think that just because you're fat, you have to stay at home and stay inside your house? Is that the kind of reaction that you get from people?
They have the wrong impression.
Yeah.
You get that from a lot of people. People will actually look at you like, how dare you come out in public? Mm-hmm.
You know, but I'll tell you,
I'll
they
wear
just...
something revealing just to piss them off.
Will you? But I will tell you, you're not the only ones who get that, because I've been in airports and I've had little kids walk by me and they go like this, Mommy, he don't have no hair. Look at him, bald head man. Do little kids run by you and say, look how fat?
Preschool. I used to teach I have a child, as a matter of fact, and that's been kind of difficult for him, me being large and his peers. And it starts there, education. You have to let him know, and I let him know that, okay, people don't like me being fat, but that's their problem, not mine. You know, it's okay for me to be fat if I'm happy with me, and if I'm healthy.
I just want to know if you ever honestly look at someone who's thin and really in shape and all that. Do you ever find yourself, wishing that you were that?
Well, but you know, beauty comes in all shapes and sizes. I mean, a woman who's thin can be considered, there's beautiful women that are thin. There's no
I know
question.
That, but I wonder if you yourself ever find your mind wandering and saying, wouldn't it be nice if I were that instead of this?
It's unrealistic.
I say if I were that
it's
thin,
unrealistic.
I'd have some type of illness, some type of terminal illness. I'm serious. It's not realistic for me to even think in those terms.
I think of myself as
I can't change
myself
my
as
skin
opposed
color.
to.
I can't change my
So you
size.
never lay at home, because most people out there think that you guys go to bed at night and when you're dreaming, you dream people have sugar plums dancing in their heads. You have skinny people dancing in your head.
No. I have me dancing on skinny people for messing with
Woo!
me.
The assumption that lady's question made was that thin necessarily goes with fit, and that's not true. You can be fit without being thin.
Yeah, you can be fit and fat, absolutely. I'm very active, and I have a very productive life, and I feel fit.
Growing up, knowing what it was like, being fat and everything, would you want to try to control, if you have kids, or I don't know if any of you have kids or not, but would you want to control what they eat or how they are in school?
We have a child, and all I want is for him to be healthy and
happy.
And not to, one of the problems that leads to overweight, obesity in children is being denied. Now, I'm not saying I just give my child free rein and he has whatever he wants, but he has a taste of what he wants. Because if you deny someone, they want it even more.
Yeah, the sure way to start a kid on that cycle
And
of
it's
dieting
a
and
proven
binging
fact.
is
It's
to
a proven
force
medical
them.
fact that denial leads to obesity in children.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a very difficult question, but a very easy answer. How long you usually take, do you drive? You drive car?
Yes.
How many minutes you usually take to go inside your car?
Like that, baby. Just slip right on in it.
Minutes?
And I drive one of the smallest cars they make. I drive a Toyota Tercel.
But Fanny, at 450 pounds in a Toyota Tercel, do you have to have extra shocks and stuff?
Both of us went to lunch in my Nissan Sentra, no problem.
Well, it's not as if we use a shoehorn, for God's sake. you don't grease the door jamb and slide in. It's not quite that bad.
We have these little midgets that stand there with goose grease and just flick us
Do you feel any resentment toward thin people?
None whatsoever. None.
Just like people of color, people, older people, younger people, I don't resent
The
them.
only resentment that could come is someone that's not willing to accept you for the person you are as opposed to the person that you look like.
Yeah, I see people in this audience all different sizes, and I don't have a problem with any of the people here, and I don't see why they should have a problem with me.
Exactly.
I don't really have a question. I just have a compliment. All of you women have beautiful faces and no wrinkles. It's marvelous.
Yeah.
I wish that I didn't have
It works. Beautiful all over. Yeah. My body doesn't have a wrinkle on it.
When the first two came out, I was surprised, and when the middle one came out,
Fanny came out.
Yeah, I was very surprised. And I was just at a Dodger game the other day, and I was on an airplane last week. How do you deal with those situations?
That's one of the places where we're discriminated against.
Public access is a
Are
problem.
you comfortable in those seats? Are you comfortable? So why expect us to be comfortable?
Yeah.
I fly quite a bit in my job. I travel quite a bit, and I feel a lot of pressure in an environmental sense. I take clients out for lunch or for meetings, and oftentimes you go into a restaurant and the seating can be very uncomfortable, as on a plane. I have to have a seatbelt extender on a plane, and that can be a problem.
Public access is a problem, but again, it's a problem with the people who are
So again, it's a question of having consciousness raised and having
That's one of the
easier
things
access.
that NAFA is working on through education, public accommodation.
Hi, I wanted to ask you, well, I know as I get older, I have a problem. I love to eat. I consider
join the
myself
club,
big. I keep a sandwich by my bed at night. I keep
no,
fruit
I'm not
I
that
love
bad.
to eat.
overeaters,
Also, do you
though.
find that as you get older, you eat more? And also
No.
wanted to ask you, I have a problem with finding clothes that look nice on me, or I have to go to like different stores all the time. Do you have a problem with finding nice clothes? Do you make your own clothes? And I like your outfits. And where can I come and
Clothes are the least of our concern. Probably.
Yeah.
The fashion industry's consciousness has been raised greatly. They
Finally.
really recognize that there is $1 million or $1 billion
It's an
industry
untapped
out
market,
there.
and it's something that's coming into its
And
own now.
clothing
There's
is
a
the least of my
proliferation of
problem.
large-size clothing
Well, these are all
shops
beautiful
and
outfits that you have on.
accessories.
Everything that you have on are really nice. But now I have to ask the question. Fanny is one of the world's largest strippers. Is that correct?
That's
you hold
right.
the title. Wouldn't we like to see Fanny strip? Yeah! Well, then I say, Fanny, we're going to crank up some music for you, and I want to see you do your thing.
I'm ready now.
terrorized neighborhood. Hires a guardian.
Did you have to hit him that hard? One thing for sure, he won't be back.
He was good.
Whenever junkie in the neighborhood to another, we are off limits.
Maybe too good.
Who did this to you?
Everyone trusted him except one man.
That's what I'm talking about! Us!
Louis Gossett Jr., Martin Sheen, the Guardian.
Tonight at 8 on Channel 13.
Advanced salon thinking from the salons of Vidal Sassoon. Vidal Sassoon conditioning rinse. It goes beyond traditional conditioners and helps protect hair too. First, it finds and conditions the damaged areas and goes on to help seal and protect hair overall. From heat, from styling, from the world. So your hair moves, shines, feels salon fabulous. Go beyond conditioning. Protect with Vidal Sassoon. Advanced salon thinking, advanced salon hair.
Don Dixon, are you sure you're eating the most nutritious cornflakes?
I'd bet my shirt on it.
Joan Jennings, are you sure you're eating the best tasting cornflakes?
I'd bet the bank.
You may not know it, but there's a better cornflake from Total. Total cornflakes have 4 times the nutrition of Kellogg's, and they taste better too. So before you bet on your cornflakes, remember, the best cornflakes are from Total.
I hate having to clean twice. Spray cleaner for the grease, then glass cleaner for the streaks the spray left.
Don't clean it twice. Cinch it once. New Cinch is the first cleaner that gets both the grease and the streaks. Glass cleaner can't always get the grease, and spray cleaners can leave streaks. Either way, you'd have to clean twice. But New Cinch gets the grease without leaving streaks. New Cinch from Spick and Span. Don't clean it twice. Cinch it once.
Fat and proud of it and happy with it. Now we just watched Fanny dance, and I have to tell you, I watched the people's faces in the audience, and I was watching yours. And this lady right here, she's laughing and smiling right now, but she was sitting there the whole time going like this. Your face was so contorted. Why were you like that? Did you think it was disgusting?
Not really. I don't want to get in trouble here.
No, you're not going to get in trouble here. Tell the truth.
No, I think all these ladies are really got pretty faces, but I could not handle the weight. Last year, I gained 50 pounds, and I really had a problem with it. And I'm having a problem taking it off.
But you've gotten some of it off, right?
Some, yeah. But I got a long way to go. But I don't think it's healthy, for one. And inside, I did not like it.
So what do you say to that, Fanny? Well, are you healthy?
That's what everybody thinks. They right away they see somebody heavy set, and they turn around and they say, well, they must have to worry about their heart. They must have to worry about this. They must be unhealthy. There's no such thing as being unhealthy just because you're overweight. Or you're not the size that you think somebody should be.
Yeah, there's no disease that's
right.
caused by
There's
being
no disease
fat.
involved in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a normal blood pressure. I have a below average of cholesterol. I mean, you know, what do you want me to do?
Processes. People think, people get the idea that we're like banks, that everybody gives the same interest rate, and it's not true. People's bodies process food differently. You have different metabolism.
Okay, this question's for Fanny, and I guess to some degree to Rhonda and Dee also. You do a striptease act, and it was actually very, excuse the word, titillating. But
don't excuse the word. They want to know if they titillated you or not.
Do you find that men are sexually turned on, or just interested in it as a novelty act, or maybe both?
It's a combination of both, to me.
Yeah.
Wait. I know the question that he wanted to ask. Because he said
yes,
something
I'm
earlier.
available after the show.
But isn't it a question that everybody wants to ask? Is it difficult having sex at your size?
No.
I'm gonna ask the question.
If you were a thinner size, I mean, was it harder because you felt like you weren't thin enough, and then when you accepted yourself as being fat, you were able to enjoy it?
Are you trying to ask how do we have sex?
No, I know how you have sex. I'm sure that's that's not the.
Hopefully,
Okay, it's the bald-headed host that said it. I said it.
We know you have sex. The thing is the quality better now that you've accepted yourself?
Oh,
as
definitely.
Absolutely.
Self-esteem has a lot to do with it. Again, it's the attitude.
Thank you. Yeah.
That is absolutely.
Yeah, it's here.
I'd like to say that I think that something that hasn't been touched on is that the quality of our lives after having accepted our size is so much better that it's neither here nor there whether or not we should feel better if we're thinner. I was more miserable dieting, and once I learned that I didn't have to diet to be happy and I'd be happier fat, then I learned that I could live a very full and happy, wonderful life.
That goes into a little bit of what the woman in white was talking about. Part of her problem was not only in just seeing our size, but she was talking about what sounded to me as self-esteem. She was saying, I just couldn't live with those 50 pounds. And it sounded to me as though maybe it was more a question of having a problem accepting yourself.
Yeah, wake up and face reality. You may not lose that way. Why put your life on hold?
You could say, well, gee, I'll go look for a better job when I've lost 100 pounds, or I'll dump the guy I'm with and look for a better guy when I've lost 100 pounds. But why put your life on hold?
Yeah, do it
Go
now.
for what you want now and enjoy your life now.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
I stopped putting my life on hold a while back, and it really made a difference accepting myself. But I want to touch a little bit on the health issues that keep coming up. I had heart failure last year, and my doctor has told me not to diet. My heart failure was an indirect result of dieting my whole life. I was 140 pounds in high school, and I would love to be 140 pounds again. I'm not going to lie, but it's not going to happen. I would lose 20 and gain 30. I'd lose 30 and gain 80, and this is where I'm at. I stopped dieting 4 years ago, and my weight has not changed since that day, within 5 pounds.
And how's the heart now?
It's better now. It's fine. But every time you diet, you lose muscle. Your heart is muscle. You lose some of your heart, and that's what caused it. A lot of famous people have died after spending.
Okay, we gotta take a break. But when we come back, we'll find out if love is really in the heart or does it have anything to do with the size of the body around it. We'll be back in just a second.
Big Roll asks, are you impatient with husbands who don't change the roll of paper towels? If you can't change your husband, maybe you should change to new Bounty Big Roll with 50% more sheets. So when regular Bounty's gone, Bounty Big Roll keeps on going and going and going. Husbands may not change, but you can change to new Bounty Big Roll, the quicker, bigger upper.
Breakfast in bed. Oh, and his post-raisin bran. It's premium. Somebody sure thinks I'm special.
Somebody?
Somebody knows Post picks only big, plump raisins, not little ones. Somebody sure knows their flakes. Big and crispy. With whole wheat and wheat bran. Somebody sure thinks I'm special.
It's me.
Post Raisin Bran. It's premium, and that makes everybody feel like somebody special.
So, how's it looking there? Really, sorry to hear that. I meant to, but I just been very busy. I've been brushing, but just not with the Tartar Control Crest.
Tartar Control Crest helps stop tartar where it starts. It penetrates plaque before it hardens for easier cleanings, and more dentists recommend it.
That was easy. You know, I've been using a Tartar Control Crest.
The dentist's choice is the easy choice.
Ever hear this stuff?
You may believe it, you may not. But the bottom line is we need to learn to respect the choices of others, whether or not we agree with those choices. I have to thank all of our guests, Ronda Wood, Dee Davey, Fanny Farkle, Judi and Bob Forbes, and Carey Cheney. And I think what we ought to do right now is have Dee and Ronda, why don't you take us out with a little belly dancing so we can enjoy some more facts. Do it.
Have you caught your spouse in the act of cheating on you? If you have, call the Montel Williams Show now. The number is 213-852-4585. Call that number and ask for Patty. That number again is 213-852-4585.